Hello and welcome to another series of videos. This time we will be looking at the 12 principles of animation applied to Live2D. So let's start with the first one, squash and stretch. What does refer squash and stretch? Well, as you can see here, it refers to a body or an object getting deformed when a force is applied to it. Here the ball gets squished when it impacts with the ground. Here we have another extreme example. And yeah, squash and stretch is one of the fundamental principles of animation. Here you can see the same sequence explained frame by frame. One important point regarding this is the object must maintain its volume, don't forget that. And now let's look at some anime examples. In this case, Megumin, you can see they have a certain squash and stretch. Is very minimal, but it affects the animation. Here you can see the boobs, squish and stretch. Also, you have rocks, for example. Rocks are something that doesn't squish or stretch. It breaks if you try to do that. The flesh and skin is also very elastic. Take that into consideration. So even in Paper Mario, you can see a certain squash and stretch in the leaves and the tail of the flower. So let's look at our first example in Live2D, the hair for this Joby. Let's hide that. Okay. Now, when the hair moves from left to right, you can see the hair squishes, stretches. Yeah, always maintaining its volume. That is important unless you are trying to do some wacky animations, in which case it's totally okay. Here the other tail, the same thing. It gets pressed by the hair. So what are the forces interacting here? Well, the gravity, the hair against the shoulder, and the head moving from left to right, adding to the weight of the hair against the shoulder. Hence, it squashes. Squish, squish. The opposite direction is the same thing, only it gets lift. So now let's look at the parts and the deformers. For this part of the hair, we have the part, the texture, and this part gets deformed like this. Okay, we are not doing this with the parts of the object, we are doing this with deformers. In fact, we have two deformers, one for when the hair moves from left to right or tilts. Here you can see the deformation. It's via the deformer. Just the power of nested deformers. Okay, it's a deformer, some random deformer, nothing special about it. Gets pressed, it gets deformed. Because of the shoulder, the hair can't go lower, so it expands to the sides and gets squished from top to bottom. The opposite happens when the head moves in the opposite direction. There is less weight and there is a force maintaining the hair up, so the hair decompresses and gets stretched from top to bottom and squished from the sides. So, another example, the boobs, in this case, squish and stretch. You might be asking why. Well, go watch some videos or get some references about it. I don't know, I'm not gonna give you links to that. That's how the boobs work, get familiar with it. The other movement is up and down, up and down. Look how the boobs move. Now what happens to this? You add the squash and stretch. The boobs look far more natural and convincing. So once again, let's compare how it looks without squash and stretch. How it looks with squash and stretch. Also the flower here at the bottom is a squashed too. Now let's look at the parts. We have a few deformers and this is the part. Let's solo it and test how it moves. Okay, just up and down, the squash and stretch. Let's see the deformer. Same thing, goes up and down, up and down. It has a little of squash and stretch, but not too much, just enough to make it look natural when the boobs go up. So this is the deformer for the squash and stretch. You can see here the boob is stretched to the sides and squished from top to bottom. The opposite happens here. The boob gets stretched from top to bottom and squished a little on the sides. As always, if you have any question, please let me know in the comments. And soon I will upload the second part of this series of videos. Anticipation.